Inku, what's up, man? Oh, I'm good. It's just late, isn't it? Sorry it's so late. I had to go back and pick somebody up and drop them off at around after 1 o'clock. Anyway, yeah. When I got on, I said, well, stream for a little bit. Still in the middle of doing laundry, so I can't go to bed yet anyway. I'll be back in a second. It's a night at work tonight. That was good. That was good. Kind of unexpected, really. Didn't figure a lot of people would be ordering delivery, but one lady said, I'm just tired of leftovers already. So, we want pizza. I was like, all right, cool. Good for me.
Into these blasted things. Now's better.
Nice. And I love being able to pick all the locks. That's just the best part of it, man. Dude, what do you love about the rogue? The damage, the sneaky stuff, the backstabs? That's all good, but picking all the locks and getting all the stuff? That's where it's really at for me.
Done. Anything else? Ugh, twisted creatures.
On the great one now! I need some help here. So many.
Damn it. Let's go ahead one more time. Oh, sorry, Alistair. That totally wasn't funny at all. He turns around and looks at me, too. It's like, what the fuck was that?
Let's have at it.
Let's see what you're made of. Knock it off.
Nice. Oh, what's up, Ping? Oh, what did you do? Oh, stay back here and kill somebody? Oh, shit.
My strength is failing.
I'm glad that dude didn't drink all of our heals. He must have got stun locked or something and not followed us. Or he just stayed back there trying to shoot through this.
More darkspawn.
He probably wasn't doing shit for us. Oh well. That's on him. That was on him.
All right, all right. Got it.
Triple backstabs on the big guys. 7 in the morning. Oh shit, dude. Sorry for jumping on so late, but I really just got back home myself. I mean, I got home for a little bit, but I had to go back out and go pick somebody up and take them home. So, yeah, else I'd have been on around 11. Actually, I would have been on about 11 otherwise. Remember what's going on, man? Yeah, sorry about that. That it is what it is. I'm busy tonight. Did a lot of driving tonight. Wasn't expecting that. I guess the college bowl games though, the college playoffs, I guess they call them now. Those are on. I wasn't aware of that. For some reason I always put that like being more towards Christmas. I mean, I know there's bowl games on, but like the playoffs, like the really big ones, I always put them as being later for some reason, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas or something. Anyway, so apparently they're already into like what the semifinals or whatever. I know because I came up to deliver to one guy and he had a lot of people here, at least in Texas, what they do is they turn their garage into like a man cave, you know, because I mean, what can the wife really say about that? You know, that type of shit, right? And they'll put their big ass neon, you know, Bud Light signs and shit like that out there, and they have their big screen ass TV and probably like a pool table or a ping pong table or, you know, some shit like that. And yeah, like you see it all the time. And so yeah, one guy was out there, he's watching the game. It's nice out tonight, tiny bit chilly, but it was crisp and comfortable. I liked it. Anyway, yeah, he was out there, and I was like, wow, that's right, it is bowl game season. And it was, yeah, they were even showing the brackets. So Bammy, City Elf. I don't like Dalish, man. I can't. That's the one origin that I don't really care about.
Into these blasted things.
Not feeling
Now's better than later. All right. Now's better than later. Strike. There. Finished. Now what do you
beautiful.
want?
That's kind of nice. I'm trying to figure out if I need to put any points in this right now. I don't think so. You get 4 from the fade. 2, 2, and 2. Yeah, no, I really actually don't need to, do we? Okay. Well, that's cool. Might want to put in some points of cunning. Probably need to get that to about 17. It's not mandatory, but would give a solid extra point of that. It would give a solid extra point of armor penetration, like an entire extra point. I think it's in between 7 and 8 points of cunning, gives you 1 armor penetration. It goes in increments. Like if you put a point in, it might give you a 10th of a point of armor penetration. And then you might have to put 2 more in to get another point, and then 1 more to get a point, and then 1 more to get a point, and then 2 more to get. And then if you put in about 7, it'll give you a point, solid point. But then every few groups of 7, you have to put in 8. So it's like 7 something. Probably like 7 and a quarter. 7 point something points of cunning is what's needed to make 1 point of armor penetration. I mean, it's a massive amount required. But I wouldn't mind getting the cunning to 22 just for basic talent stuff. Wouldn't hurt anything. Where's that? I don't need that yet. Alright. Already got that. That's good. Really want this. That's where it's really going down. That's where it's really going down. That's when everything really just starts to go. I'm getting that too, but I'd like to make. That critical chance is what you want with that. The bleeding lacerations, I don't know that I ever see those. And if you do, it's probably for like 1 point every so many seconds or some crap like that. Or maybe it's like a certain amount of damage every few swings or something. I don't know. Passives are always good. Always. Never met a passive I didn't like. Don't need that. Don't need that. That's the cool thing about having a rogue, so you don't need to give that to Alistair either. Give him an extra one of these. Gotta have taunt. This is you can really only get away with this with a or I can really seem to only get away with it when I'm playing a rogue. Otherwise, I got other people needing to make up for this or that, and skills are few and far in between. Except with Laaaaate, she gets one every other level too. It's doing that shit again. I am thinking really, really hard about where I'm going to put these stats, and I just wanted my camera to display that, to get that point across, you know, that deep. If you could just imagine me sitting on a toilet with that pose right there, thinking very hard about important things. Sorry about that. It's been doing this shit here lately. I don't know. It's either the camera or the capture card acting up. It's always one or the other. Like, literally always one or the other. Let's see if I can just do this. That would be nice if I can just fix it this way. Yeah, it's live. It's live. It's just my camera's frozen. Yeah, see, it's not one to act at all. Act right at all. I don't even think it's. You know, honestly, I think sometimes the camera is so dated that sometimes the computer just boots up, and it like doesn't even acknowledge that the camera's in there. That's what I think is happening. Yeah, this is live. I mean, you know, as live as it gets, I guess. I may be half dead, but it's still live. Just saying. Oh, I'm good, man. How are you? Yeah, all the shites, huh? All the shites. Been a little bit. It's nice to see some of you guys coming back around after years. Like you're talking half a decade or more, like a long time. Well, I mean, that's seems like a pretty long time to me. All right, is it gonna work? Yeah, but now it's gonna be all like out of whack. It had to like completely reestablish it. Look at that. Isn't that cool though? So cool, man. But it's got it locked, which is still got it locked. That just doesn't make any sense. At least it's in the right place. But now it's got the wrong... Well, that's weird. Oh, give me a second, guys. That's actually really weird. I don't want that. Okay, it's just... Now it's just getting creepy, y'all. Now it's just getting creepy. My PC has a poltergeist. That's what it is. Alright, does that look better? Or that at least working? Looks like it's working. I'm glad you can do that shit on the fly. You don't have to shut the stream down and go mess with it for 20 minutes and restart everything 5 times and then boot it back. Yeah, I'm glad you can at least do that. Anyway. Yeah, man. Thanks, man. Yeah, good to see you. Let's. How was your holidays? Or how was your holiday? I consider this whole weekend a holiday, really. I mean, honestly, it's really a holiday until about January 2nd. And then you get the big hangover. But, yeah. Anybody else? Like, really, the whole just from Thanksgiving till that next... You know, if you're smart, you probably get that Friday off anyway. And then you just take that next Monday off. And then you've basically got like a full work week vacation for the price of like one day. That's totally what I would do. Okay, so we're good. Family and turkey, that's what matters. We had steak at our house. Well, steak and fish. My mom doesn't eat steak, but she's not vegetarian. She's a fishtarian. My mom's a fishtarian. Just whatever, just go with it. Anyway, but freaking fishtarian. Oh god, I'm sorry I said that. That'll go viral, and all of a sudden you have fishtarians blocking the waterways out into the ocean. Saying, never mind. Sorry. We'll get out of the way of the boats. And can y'all see it happening? Yeah, I was asking about that earlier last week, like where everybody was from and like what they do there, and who was it? Somebody said that they had something like that. I think they were from Canada? No, it wasn't Canada. Was it No. I'm trying to remember where they were from. They had something like that, but it was like a completely different time of the year. But they had their own version of that. And I imagine most countries probably have some version of something. You know, I mean, maybe not a version of something, but they got their own thing, like stuff that they do. Like, for example, like you look over in China and they've got like 753 holidays a month. You know, I mean, like, I hope everybody. Well, it's communist over there, so nobody's getting paid for anything, but if you did get paid, I would hope you'd be getting like holiday time pretty much every day, because in China, there's a lot of stuff. They have a lot of cultural observances and things. I mean, I'm not saying every day, but it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. Well, I guess traditionally Thanksgiving type stuff. Yeah, I guess probably each country has their own name for something like that, where they just pick a day to eat and celebrate something. Maybe they just pick a day to eat and celebrate for the sake of being able to eat and celebrate, and they're thankful for it. So we just do that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, call it what you want. Everybody's probably got something like that. Holidays, right? Even the word holiday ends in Y. So let's just make it 7 days a week. Even the word day ends in Y. Well, shit, let's make that a holiday. Enemy targeted range. This is the ultimate setting for this. This is your Dragon Age hack, guys. If this is why you're here, I don't want to see you leave, but this is what you came for, to learn how to beat Dragon Age Origins on Nightmare without really even having to pause the game. This is what you do. You give Alistair taunt if an enemy is at short range. Guess why? Because, damn it, taunt is a short-range ability. And if the enemy isn't at short range, it's not going to hear the taunt anyway. It doesn't care how loudly you talk bad about its mama. The enemy doesn't care. If it's outside of short range, it doesn't hear it anyway. So, therefore, don't use it on 19 different enemies that you all want to draw aggro from because you really don't want to fight them unless they're trying to kill Alistair. Right? In other words, they're not paying attention to you. Well, just make sure that Alistair is within short range of them, because other than that, taunt isn't going to work. Good to know, right? Okay, I know what to do here then. Just gonna delete it. I'm not gonna keep fucking with that. I'm just gonna delete that. I have to do this every couple streams too. I have a really old computer and I have a really old camera too. This camera is shit. I bought this when I very first started because it was like it cost almost nothing at Best Buy. It was like outdated when I bought it. Over 10 years ago. I'm not kidding. Hey, I have no shame. It still freaking works, sort of. Unless it doesn't. But hey, it just adds flavor and character to the stream. Right? Right, guys, ladies? It just adds character to the stream. Dude, it started off frozen. Like, I can tell it's actually, like, literally frozen. Dude, what the fuck? This is weird. Okay, okay, I'm just gonna kill the camera again. I'm just gonna kill it. So many damn things plugged in here. Oh, really? Oh, cool. We were talking. We were talking about doing that again, but we're going to do it on the original 360. I think I did that playthrough on the PS3, but same difference. Actually, 360 is kind of a little bit better on Mass Effect on the trilogy, I think. A little bit. PS3 has a few problems with it. All right. That'll do it. Sorry about this, guys. I mean, the shit just wants to be stubborn and be an asshole. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. Let's see. Let's do this. Okay, I should do it. And if it does it again, just let me know. If it happens in 30 seconds and the cam just never comes back on, it's because I threw it out in the street, went and got in my car, ran over it 17 times, then brought it back in and threw it in the trash can after dunking it in the toilet, full of piss 5 times. You know, like one of those fix-it videos. You ever seen how to fix the red ring on your Xbox, and the dude takes a hammer to it, and eventually, after he's done pissing all over it, running over it, chopping it up with a chainsaw and shit, he puts some fucking Band-Aids and a little duct tape on it, and says, there you go. You know the videos, the dude did a couple videos like that. This shit was actually funny. I thought it was anyway. All right, so we're good here. So anyway, once again, this taunt works. My camera doesn't, but the taunt works just like that. And by the way, another hack is this is how you actually do Abilene. But the cool thing about Aveline is if you throw a couple points into that tree, I don't remember what tree it is. I don't remember exactly what the tree is called. Wherever Taunt is. It's the same where Pommel Strike. I think Pommel Strike is in the same tree as Taunt. And, what else? Battle Synergy or something. So, Battle Master? Maybe? Not really sure. Anyway, wherever Taunt's at, I think you can basically put a point into Pommel Strike, upgrade Pommel Strike, and get a free stagger out of Pommel Strike. It's a guaranteed stagger on. I don't know if it's guaranteed on everybody. I know Seal Bass is guaranteed on no matter what enemy you hit it with, which is amazing because you can even stagger a High Dragon for a second. Get a Chain Lightning combo off on a High Dragon. It's nice for a little extra juicy damage, right? But Pommel Strike is just another free, quick, easy, cheap stagger that cools down real fast and doesn't really cost anything. And then you can upgrade Taunt, although I think it's called Warcry at that point, but it's fucking Taunt is what it is. You can upgrade it to become medium range. And so then you can go back and change the tactic. If any enemy is at medium range, then Taunt. Right? Short to medium range. Even better. That includes anybody within that big radius. And medium range is basically the size of a friggin' like Firestorm or Electric Storm or any big AoE ability like that. So Taunt goes from like this to like this. It almost doubles. And that's pretty much any room that you're in. Any relatively small map. She's gonna draw that aggro from there. And by that point, she's probably able to take it too. Be able to take the damage, right? So here, Alistair has this. Just remember, the more damage Alistair or the more threat Alistair draws, the more he has to be able to stay alive. So depending on your character and certain needs that you have, mana clash is always a big deal. Consider haste. Do you need haste? Like, if I was going to run with Leliana for the most part, I would just run Leliana with momentum as well. And then not really worry about it. And then replace Leliana eventually with Morrigan, which is what I plan to do on this build. It's very similar to Dragon Age 2. Run with Varric until you've got all of Meryl's bullshit out of the way about halfway through Act 2, and then replace Varric with Meryl. And you can go ahead and play Rogue from that point. And it's really optimal because you can treat Varric as your primary damage dealer. Really. You, Varric, Aveline tanking, and then whatever mage you've got to provide haste. Pretty simple. Plus, you'll still have Bethany around, so you don't have to deal with pedofilth sass for most of Act 1. There's that too. Definite advantage. And then in Dragon Age Inquisition, I don't want to give that game any credit, but I will say the system actually really, really works like that too. You can roll with Varric, let Varric do his thing along with the party or whatever, and then eventually replace Varric with Dorian when you get Dorian. And you just keep Vivian on the side all the time. And you can roll with Varric until Dorian's really available. And even then, you're still going to run with Varric like certain, maybe companion quests and things like that. But Dorian comes in and gives a really solid debuff for the party. He's the only non-player class. Dorian, the Necromancer, is the only non-player class that actually provides some benefit for the party. That whole Necromancer tree can make enemies weaker, make them take more damage, maybe make them do less damage. I don't remember all the benefits, but it is beneficial to the party. Solus doesn't do any of that. Vivian is your ultimate party class, meaning she's the one that actually benefits the party in a major way. Not just with her basic barriers and shit like that, but she's the only one that can actually heal. And mass resurrect and like triple barrier you and shit for a while and give you health regen, times such and such for, a period of time and all this type of stuff. She's your true healer. Even though it's Knight Enchanter and a lot of players abused that because there was a glitch to make it a damage dealing. And I'm not saying that wasn't a cool build and it wasn't a cool idea. You're out there with your lightsaber, strengthening your force by hitting people with it. Okay, that's Star Wars shit. That's fine. But really, that class shines as the ultimate party buff. And then Cassandra works right along with that in giving you infinite guard no matter what class you play. Y'all aware that Cassandra can do that? Nobody else can do that. Blackwall can't do that. And Iron Bull really can't do shit. You can give him a sword and board and he can do some things really badly. Give him a two-hander and he's dead instantly all the time. And he doesn't do anything to compensate for that. He does minimum damage and takes maximum damage. And I'm sorry, if you're an Iron Bull fan, that's just the sad reality of it. But anyway, just showing you that this principle actually really works. Here, run Laaaaate until Morrigan can actually use blood magic. It's not until she's basically like level 17 or 18. Like, seriously. She can't even get the blood magic specialty until she's level 14. And Wynn can't either. If you wanted to run Wynn in some kind of perverted version of that or whatever, you still can't. She's already got her class set, and Morgan already has hers at level 7. You got to wait till 14, and then you got to level up a couple times just to get the skills you need to make that class worth even playing. So yeah, level 17 or 18. You're pretty far into the game at that point. You're not done with the game, but you're done with your build at that point. And you just bring Morgan in just for funds, really. Kind of like bringing in Meryl in Dragon Age 2. By the time you're halfway through Act 2, the basis of your build, you're just starting to put embellishments on it. You're just starting to upgrade some talents, gain a few other passives where you can find them, whatever, yada yada yada. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sorry, rambling. That taunt tactic is the best one I've found. It covers everybody and everything because really it's in its simplest form. It does the only thing it can do is affect enemies at short range, meaning any enemy within short range is taunted. So if he puts his attention on another enemy that's maybe charging Wynn, like one of your mages or you or something, right? Then he can turn and taunt that enemy and go back to the one that he was fighting. Or if he's fighting an enemy, which is obviously in short range because he's fighting that enemy and it's in his face, he can taunt again to maintain the threat of that enemy. And if the enemy chooses to turn away, hopefully get a taunt off to draw their threat back to himself. Because remember, your mages and your rogues, your everybody else basically, they're drawing tons of threat every time they do anything. Every time you use an ability, your threat meter is it's basically taunt. And if you're an archer, the range of your taunt is long to extra long range. Anybody you can hit with an arrow, especially anybody you can hit with a bow ability, that's taunt from across the map, which becomes a circle about this big, and anybody within that goes and attacks your rogue. You notice how Laaaaate gets gangbanged every time you get in a fight with more than 3 or 4 people? That's why. She's drawing global threat every time she does anything with her bow. Just don't give her a bow. Just let her kill everything with daggers. She'll steal your kills, by the way, if you just give her daggers. True story. Anyway, okay. We got that done. Let's go. I think this is the puppy bro level. Mine?
Loghain better be ready.
I'd still probably say it's Dragon Age 2.
The king is depending
That's
on
the one I go back to. Like, if I'm not playing through the series or, saying I wonder how this compares to that in the series and doing, which I never end up completing those anyway because I get bored halfway through and we just go do something else, or we just try some other shit and we just get stuck on Dragon Age 2 for 3 months playing it every day. It's still the most pure, perfect of the games, and Inquisition will never be there because honestly I don't consider Inquisition even 10% a Dragon Age game. That's my opinion. I can back up my opinion, but that's still my opinion. Yeah, it's got to be 2. That game has so many levels, so many layers, and you disrespect all the content, the depth, and the quality of it by just brushing it off as being oh, it's to this, or oh, it's to that, or whatever. And none of that shit is valid anyway, in my opinion. But, we're going back here a little bit. I don't want to draw the whole map. It can't happen. You can actually draw, like, the rest of the map from here.
Got it.
Yeah, see that bow? Where did he go? He bypassed the fucking tank and everybody else to go mess with the dude with the bow. No. So that dude's sniping. Like, literally sniping.
Let's see some blood. Let's see what you're made of.
Oh. That might be my favorite kill cam right there.
Now
I don't think I missed anything. That ambush, man, that ambush was giving me the blues before. Straight up just problems. No, I didn't either. I said I wouldn't play it. It was years before it came out. Probably, I promised, I swore on myself that I would not play it. I want to say at least 5 years before it came out. Said when they do come out with this is going to be bullshit. Because at that point, we'd already waited for over 5, 6, 7 years for it. So by the time they come out, it's going to be like over a decade. When it came out, it was over a decade, right? Or it was right at a decade anyway. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Point made, and all the reasons I said I would not play it, from all reports, is exactly why it's unplayable.
dog spawn. Kill them all.
I need some help here.
All right. I'll get on it. So you can get off my back.
How far is this dude allowed to just sprint across the map?
Now's better than later. All right.
Oh, every character does that.
Nothing like a brush with death to make you not like death much.
Nothing like a brush with death to not like death. That's literally Alistair's version of wise words. That's about as close as he gets. So let's all give him just a little leeway there and say, very good, Alistair. That's deep. That's very philosophical, Alistair. You have no idea how philosophical that is.
That about wraps it up. I can't do that.
Even more darkspawn.
The puppy bro's like way back here? Get wrecked!
Can I get you so you can get off my back? Got it. You have
Get chewed on, bitch. Oh, the dog said no. No.
Can I get you so you can get off my back?
That's like from Riddick. It's like from Riddick. Oh, what was that, Darkspawn? Hold on a second. Dog said no, bitch. Y'all remember that? Y'all ever seen Riddick? It's like my favorite of the Riddick movies is just Riddick. That's definitely my favorite of all of them. Just Riddick. The guy who leans down and listens to the motorcycle, and the guy's saying, let us use some of your gear, and we'll handle this. Guy leaned down and said, the gear says, nah, bitch. It's freaking hilarious. The gear says, nah, bitch. Oh, man. All right. Well, at least we're getting some injury kits. That's nice. I guess the puppy bros aren't going to be in this last fight. If you can work them down the hallway, they'll fight all the way to the door with you. I wish they could go up with you with the ogres, so you bring in a pack of Mabaris to go get their chew on. To just the tactics really set it apart, because the tactics just allow your entire party to play like a machine, and it really is, you know. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, we got a bunch of these. And the tactics really give the gameplay, the game approach, your tactics, your strats actually give the gameplay as deep of a story as the actual story. And then the game world and just all the stuff and the relationships and the story arcs and all that stuff. That's where a lot of the content really is. And how you approach and how you build your party and your team, and understanding what to do and when and where, and what you can and can't get away with, and times when you're going to have to make sacrifices to get shit that you really want, and all the RPG decisions that you should have to make in an RPG. There's none of those in Inquisition. There's a few in Origins, but really Dragon Age 2 is when they, in my opinion, hit their peak. You had Origins, which was amazing for what it was. Dragon Age 2 kind of improved on a few things. Then they started sliding off the hill with Inquisition. Came all the way back down to ground zero, and then Failguard is a rainbow sewer. And I'll just leave it at that.
Don't spawn. Kill them all. All right. I'll get on it. Now better than later. I'll get on it.
Beautiful. Steel Maul.
It is done.
We just found a Steel Maul. What? I bet it doesn't have a rune slot, though. Anything steel right about now should have a rune slot in it. But I bet you it doesn't, yeah. But that means they'll probably be in inventory, like merchant inventories. And if anything's steel at this point in the game, it's almost always going to have a rune slot. Not every time, but 90% of the time. That's worth... shit. Each of these is worth between half a sovereign and a sovereign. Almost a full quiver of each of those. That's pretty cool. It's just... oh yeah, see, I got that guard shield in this as the city elf, which is not a bad shield. I like the +2 damage versus Darkspawn. I do like that. That's pretty cool. Nice. That was everybody's complaint about it. But how how is Origins not copy pasting all the exact same shit even more often? And at what point, really? I mean, Denerim is unique, I guess. Haven is unique, I guess. You could say Ostagar is unique, I guess. Redcliffe. Okay, so you have 4 locations there that aren't huge, but they're something. Redcliffe Castle, that's some stuff to do. I think the playing through it makes it seem bigger than it is, which is I mean, I'll give it that. Playing through something makes it bigger than it is. But what do you have in Kirkwall? Well, you got Kirkwall. Let's say Day and Night literally is the same map. It's not a copy paste, it literally is the same map. It's just nighttime or daytime, right? And so you got all of Kirkwall with Hightown, Lowtown, Darktown, the Gallows. You can consider the Hanged Man kind of a unique area, right? So that's 5. But anyway, that just makes up Kirkwall, which actually makes it easily bigger than Denerim. Now, if you include the Elven Alienage and the Arl's Estate, Rendon House Estate is an exact copy of the Arl's Estate. So copy paste. It happens all the time in Origins. So I just don't feel it's a fair criticism. But then let's go a step further. You got Sundermount and all of its side caves and the whole mountain itself going all the way up to the top and all that shit and its little caves. So the caves are relatively using a lot of the same patterns. Huh. Oh, you mean the cave that has an offshoot of the cave with a cave that turns around and circles back on itself. Like all of the deep roads. Copy paste. The entire all of it is copy paste. Until you get to the Anvil of the Void. Until you get to the Broodmother. It's actually a copy paste of another area. Basically the same area, just with a slightly different exit, where you fight that big ass queen corrupted spider. It's essentially almost the same thing, but with some add-ons and some embellishments and this and that and blah blah blah. Okay, fine. Seems a whole lot bigger than it actually is because you got to do a lot of back and forth and go back and forth. Huh. Sounds a bit like Dragon Age 2. Made by the same people. Okay, cool. Then you got the Wounded Coast and all of its associated caves. We won't count DLC because Dragon Age 2 actually I think beats Origins in terms of area overall in DLC. Like Mark of the Assassin or whatever that's called is easily as big as Awakening in terms of actual game area, maybe even bigger. You even got puzzle rooms. You got the inside of the estate castle, whatever, that's bigger than shit. Denerim and Redcliffe put together, all by itself. But we're not counting DLCs. We're just talking about the base game, right? So I just don't think the copy-paste accusation is true. I think if you're going to use that accusation, you have to point the same finger at Origins and say, you know, they're just as guilty of that. How about all the ambushes in Origins every time you go across the country road? Oh, it's got walls. Oh, it's got trees. Oh, it's got dark trees. Oh, it's got spider webs with trees. It's the exact same fucking thing. Every single time. And it's usually only a section of road that's about 10 feet long and 5 feet wide. And you just got some shit that you have to do there. Maybe it's even a smaller one. It's just the open field portion of one. And it's got a bunch of traps in it. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy. It's the same thing. They use literally the mansion for every mansion in Dragon Age 2. The mansion, the whorehouse, the mansion. I mean, you damn near can include the chantry and the actual keep in Dragon Age 2, right? The Kirkwall Keep itself. And say this is damn near the same map in pretty much each of the... Oh, true story. Just has a weapon over here and a dead body over there and a mannequin over here and a shield on the wall over there. And other than that, yeah, it's roughly the same thing. You have a few unique areas like that. But you reuse the exact same things in the exact same way in Origins. Possibly even more often. But they, you know, if you disguise it well, cool. Okay, well, I mean, damn, all of Kirkwall is built by the dwarves. The dwarves are really about squares. Let's just Make this shit square and be done with it, right? So but I mean, I don't know. And remember, they had 9 years, I think, to develop Origins. They developed Dragon Age 2 in 11 months from scratch. Sorry, man. No video game developer in the history of video games, unless you go back to the Atari 2600, and we're not talking about the same level of shit you have to take into account when you develop a video game as in the, mid to late 2000s, right? So, just to be fair, and this is really not biased, this is like, hey, wait a minute, let's put this shit on the scales and see what's really up. Just hating this shit and coming up with a catchphrase to hate this shit when it actually applies to your stuff too? That's not fair. Oh, you suck for this, but we don't. Dragon Age Origins could say, Dragon Age 2 sucks because of this, but we don't. That's not right. That's not a fair argument. That's not a fair criticism. Right? I hate you for doing what I do. What the fuck is that? That makes no sense to anybody, right? It shouldn't make any sense to anybody. It's just, I don't know. I never liked that one. Because I'm like, I never pay attention to the maps in Dragon Age 2. Because by that time, I'm engrossed in developing my party, getting into my characters, listening to their banter, their dialogue, just walking around doing shit, and having all the background audio that brings the entire game to life. Even more so than Dragon Age Origins. Sorry, the background audio, from the seagulls to the people talking to just the music and the subtle music, the bagpipe type sound and stuff, and everything that's going on that just goes along with whatever you're doing, because the music changes based on whatever's going on wherever you're at, even more so than Origins. Sorry, man, I just can't. Yeah, if you want to talk about copy paste, I think you got to include everything, and I just don't think it's fair. Oh yeah, they do it, yeah, but you make Origins in 11 months. What do you think it looks like? You make this from scratch in 11 months. Now you could say with Origins they had practice. Okay, well the people that really were the lead designers in Dragon Age 2 didn't have a whole lot to do with Origins. The lead producer, I guess, being Mike Laidlaw, probably. Okay, yeah, there you go. Being like the oversight over like the whole thing. But the lead developers, the ones that were like Aiden Scanlon, I don't remember his name in Dragon Age Origins. I don't think he was with BioWare then, in that 9 years they had to make Origins. But he basically made Dragon Age 2 in 11 months. Was it flawed, and does it still have its little quirks and shit like that? Of course it does, like every single video game. So that's not a fair criticism either. My video game is perfect and yours not. Can no video game say ever? There's not a single one that's perfect. So, I just to put a little weight on the other side of the scale and say, hey, before you start throwing all your stones, remember, if you throw all your stones, you're throwing all your weight, and you're actually giving weight to the person you're throwing stones at, probably. And if all those stones are not on your side of the scale, but they're on their side of the scale at that point, guess who's light on the scale now? Just saying. I'm not shooting at you per se, but I've heard that argument regurgitated for almost 15 years now, and it never held any weight, in my opinion. It never held any weight. I was so excited when I played the demo of Dragon Age 2. I was so excited. I said, this is the only thing I ever wanted in Origins, was combat that was actually worth playing. It looked as brutal and disgustingly dark and friggin' just violent as it was supposed to be, because that's what the game always told us. Me standing here like a Lego man doing this as backstabs really just doesn't do it for me visually to give me that visceral combat feeling. Now, me disappearing in a cloud of greasy black smoke, showing up behind somebody and jabbing them with my dagger and watching their torso explode into 18 different pieces because I just hit them for about 9K. Now that to me is some visceral satisfaction from what the game tells me it's supposed to look like, and then actually seeing it happen. They actually downgraded when they went to Inquisition. They slowed it down by about 80%, and they made it fucking boring, like you're walking around with lead shoes in quick-drying cement. And it was garbage. Dragon Age 2 had that shit hands down. Exactly what the game had always told you was happening, and they just expected you to sort of visualize it like a dungeon master with your character kind of playing through some basic animations. No, man. No. Now, Magic has some cool animations, but it has cool animations in Dragon Age 2 as well. And they're faster, and they're even more brutal, and they just seem bigger. But whatever. You know, that's apples and oranges in my opinion. But the actual gameplay, when you're going through and watching your party just destroy some shit, I mean, that's pretty gangster in Dragon Age 2. Like I said, they did that shit in less than a year. They didn't have a decade. They had a monthcade to do it. You know what I'm saying? But then again, man,
I can't do that.
in absolute defense of everything you're saying is if something is your favorite for a reason, then the things that really charm you about that game are your favorites. And if one or two of those things seems to be missing or ignored in another version of a game, we've all seen that with sequels to games. Like, about the only one that kept it pretty much true to form and tried to even make it a little better if they could without changing it, even though they changed it in some ways which I thought were stupid, but everybody's going to say that about something, was Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, it's not so different. I don't think they ever forfeited who they were. I think they got super simple in Mass Effect 2. They toned it down to the point that it was oversimplified, almost Skyrim, and almost being basically just an action game. Like, there's no really thought that goes in anything. You just try to kill the things in a fucking cover shooter. Sorry, that's just oversimplistic, but it's a lot of people's favorite. Well, they like Call of Duty too, so that's there's no surprise there, right? But what gives me my jollies the most in Dragon Age 2, I do miss that in Origins. But you see, I'm still playing it, right? So it being your favorite, what really floats my boat in Dragon Age 2 might not be as important to you. But all I would try to do is just say, hey man, maybe the criticisms are a bit harsh, and instead of concentrating on that, it's like literally missing the entire forest for literally one leaf. Saying, well, this leaf fell out of place in my opinion, so that makes the whole game bad. That's really what that argument is to me. And so if you could approach that game with like a different view and actually enjoy the game more as a result, then everybody wins, right? Everybody wins. I'm still playing this game, and there's some things that you can tell me that you love, and that's probably why I'm playing the game, because I love them too. I never called this bad. Saying that chocolate is my favorite instead of vanilla, and you saying vanilla is your favorite instead of chocolate, does not make us racists. It just means you like what you like. I still like vanilla. I don't mind combining some chocolate and vanilla. I think that shit's delicious too. Fuck it, I'll throw in some strawberry too. And then some Tin Roof and a little Millennium Crunch, and you're like, I don't like shit in my ice cream. Oh, so you're racist against ice cream ingredients? No, that's a fucking ridiculous woke argument. That has no, it's just satanic fucking non-human confusion bullshit. No, the reality is you like shit in your ice cream, I don't. I like shit in my ice cream, you don't. That's okay. But we can agree that ice cream's great, right? So if you take Dragon Age Origins, you take Dragon Age 2, and you're like, this is my favorite thing about this, I'm not getting a whole lot of that out of this. And I'll be like, this is my favorite thing about this, and I'm not getting any of that over here. But I still like Dragon Age. I like games that are Dragon Age. Like I say, Inquisition is about 10% Dragon Age. If you gave Veilguard 100% Dragon Age, it would still be minus 500% Dragon Age. So we're not even going to talk about that. Or I'm not going to talk about that. You can talk about it all you want, and well, that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, so that's always where my head's at in this. I like to emphasize my point and opinion because I've thought about it. And I came to a conclusion based on thoroughly looking at it and trying to be really, really fair, right? And anybody else. I mean, that's any good point of a debate is when you come with not just an opinion, but like an argument on your behalf. Even though you don't necessarily have to argue, but an argument. Saying, I feel this way and this is why. I don't feel this way because somebody else told me this, which I feel is a lot of the copy-paste argument for Dragon Age 2. Well, somebody else told me that, and then I looked at it real quick and saw it, and I just disregarded the rest of it. And I'm like, well, you got cheated. You got cheated by some asshole that their opinion shows their strength of character, which, they just don't have any. So is their opinion worthless? Well, it doesn't amount to anything. So yeah, I'd say their opinion doesn't matter. Everybody's opinion matters. That is a lie. Okay, that's the bad people's opinions don't matter. Child molesters. Satan's opinion doesn't matter. No. I'm not calling anybody those things, but I'm just stating a fact is that you can have a worthless opinion. One that's based on no facts, one's that's based on nothing other than hype, hate, just confusion, unwillingness to fucking accept any fact about anything, having your mind so blocked off, anything that comes out of your mouth at that point is probably brain cancer to anybody that listens to you, right? And I'm not talking about any of you guys, and certainly not talking about videos. I'm just stating that no, not necessarily. Taking somebody's opinion can poison you to something that actually is worth something. If you didn't see it through a filter that somebody gave you based on their fucked up, stupid, confused, mindless, uneducated, shit-ass woke opinion. Hating just for the sake of hating and whatever. If you don't hear that, maybe your eyes aren't that color when you look at something. Maybe you can actually see it for what it is instead of what this pervert over here told you it is before you even got a chance to judge it for yourself. Look at Andromeda. Andromeda was destroyed before it was ever released. That's a fact. I don't know if you guys remember that. They had dozens, if not hundreds, of YouTube channels created to bash Andromeda because one guy says it's bad and I know what I'm talking about even though I haven't seen it. And so before anybody had seen, I don't know, even 10 seconds of gameplay, because it was in extended development, everybody just said, it's already a piece of shit, this is that, made up a bunch of stuff, and the Metascore was incapable of ever recovering before it was ever even released. And then I think it was some BioWare employees actually sabotaged the game, which if I was EA, the publicist that funded their studio, I would sue. I'm guessing most of those developers are gone now because Hillary didn't get elected, because they were certainly on top of that, and once she didn't get elected, they just started jumping off the cliff like lemmings, and they disappeared, and shit, an entire BioWare studio disappeared, and now I guess they're gonna start making phone games or some shit? Anyway, at the time, when Andromeda came out, the graphics had been given off to a third party that nobody knew about. They got the graphics back, and instead of testing any of them, they just put them in the game, plug them in the game, even though they had unlimited money and extra years to develop the game. And then when the graphics came out, none of the facial animations worked. None of it worked. They had to basically come out with another 100 fucking gigs of updates just to get the game to work visually. The game in and of itself was there. It was core, but it was dead. It was dead at that point. Remember, first impressions are really the biggest impression, right? So if a game's just a fucking joke right out the box, guess what? Nobody's gonna play that shit. And anybody asking somebody, hey, is it playable? No, I had a motherfucker that's supposed to be sad about her father grinning so loud that her mouth stretched back behind her ear while her torso was bent backwards and her knees were bent backwards and she was walking like some weird fucking alien or something. Backwards, floating upside down across the fucking roof and the ceiling and shit. Yeah, that type of stuff ruined the game on release. They fixed it, but too late. You can't repair that. I seriously doubt they ever got their money back on that. But when you look at Andromeda as not a Mass Effect game, but just an RPG, it's like Kingdoms of Amalur, which failed kind of in the same way. It didn't get any support, and then the fucking EA let the lawyers come in and destroy, what was it? Big 8 Studios, or Big Huge Studios, or whatever they called their studio. They let them come in and destroy them. And then they eventually sold the IP off to the same people that made Darksiders. And they created a better version of Kingdoms of Amalur, but it was years later, and it never had a cult following. But you can't, if you don't even have a cult following to pick up on a remaster, what are you gonna do? People who saw the game for what it was, they're gonna appreciate it, but that is not enough people to even get your money back. You've got to find at least a cult. It doesn't have to be a mainstream audience, but it at least has to have a cult following, right? Anyway, whatever. This video game stuff. All right. Now I'm pretty much just talking about whatever. I wouldn't play it if the current BioWare studio made it. I would not play it. They're so overdue on it, it's just like Failguard. They let a dude in a dress come in and just make it Bud Light 2.0. Bud Light 2.0. Don't give you anything that you want, virtue signal, and try to force. Okay, I'm just gonna be crude here, so just take the euphemism. A dude in a dress that doesn't acknowledge being a dude or a girl, forcing a tranny penis down your throat that you're not allowed to acknowledge whether it's a dick or not. That's what Veilguard was, as a video game, to the player. I pray that kids didn't get their hands on that game. But I mean, look at the books they're showing in school. You know, my husband's gonna be a mother, showing a pregnant man on the cover of a fucking kindergarten book, elementary school book, in a public school library that your tax dollars paid for. That's a real thing. So, I mean, that's on that level of, so this is why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. This is what we're talking about. And if you agree with that type of shit, you're definitely talking to the wrong person. And that's I'm not going to say that's pretty sad. I'm going to say that's pretty evil. If you like that type of shit. I'm sure none of you guys do, or else you wouldn't, well, I would think that you wouldn't be here. Unless you want to find some way to sabotage the channel like you did on Twitch. But whatever. Good luck with that. That's a whole nother topic right there, too. Oh. Slobber chops. Leaky lips. Old leaky lips there.
Get off my back. I'll get on.
Boy, that's just ignored taunt.
All right.
Just ignored taunt. Ignored it.
On them!
Ignored taunt.
As it may, as it now.
Let's see some blood. I'll get on.
kill cam this time?
Let's see what you're made of.
Yeah, Alistair. Yeah, Alistair. Try to steal my my kill cam this time while you're picked up getting punched in your bitch face by the ogre. Yeah, try to steal my kill cam now.
Here. We surely missed the signal. Let's light it quickly before it's too late.
The only possible chance, based on what I see, this is my opinion. Dude, you've never worked in the industry, so you're not allowed to say anything. Okay, well, whatever. I'm on the receiving end of what people have been shitting out from the industry for about the last 10, 15 years, and every once in a while, you find a kernel of corn that if you wash it off enough, it's edible, but for the most part, it's just shit. A lot of times, it's diarrhea shit from an infected asshole, from somebody that's really, really sick with some woke disease. It's what you get with video games. If you're looking for anything healthy to eat, no. It's fucking construction porta potty bathroom toilet stuff. You want to try to pick a piece of corn out of that and find something good worth spending your 60, 70 bucks on? I'd say good luck with that, but I'd say just don't do that. And maybe they'll get back to actually making games if you just don't buy their dog shit. Just don't. The only way to get Hollywood to, well, just not be the toxic cesspool of filth and satanic AIDS-infected fucking coagulating blood puddles, which is what they all are, is just in their entirety. The only way to get them to stop being that is just to not give them any more money. Or, like, influencing the same type of shit that fucks up your kids in school and speaking out against anything good and promoting anything evil. And I just look at California, and that's my home state, so I have every right to speak about it. Just look at what it is now. Why the fuck do you think we left way back when? Live in Texas now. Don't have that shit here. I mean, in places you can't get rid of cancer completely. But just an example. All right, let's get some stuff to sell because these guys won't be needing it. It's like, why are you taking my stuff? In fact, why are you taking all my stuff? It's not worth it for free, Stefan. It's not worth buying for free. But it's free. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, man. I mean, not just a bad game experience, but maybe some of its sickness and perversion and filth might just creep in and make you acceptable of things that, well, let's just put it this way. The people behind it and the things that they put in there, I don't have kids, but if it got within 100 yards of my kids, I would execute the thing and just let the legalities just fall where they will. You wouldn't be allowed to exist around my children thinking the way they think, doing what they do, saying what they say, and promoting what they promote, and developing what they did in that game. You would not be allowed near my family. It's that bad. So, just saying, I wouldn't buy it for free. True story. I would not do that. I mean, that's your choice, I guess, but you asked, so I'll definitely tell you. It's 125. What is this? 50. I'll take the defense. This is heavy. I'll still take the defense. I think chainmail looks cooler, personally. I think it does. Oh, maybe not. It's just a different texture, huh? Huh. It's just a different texture. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Actually make those. Okay. Sell that too. Okay, I think we're good. We'll make a little money out of this. I mean, we're lucky we're not dead on top of this tower, right? Slide down a saw blade into a pile of salt. Yeah.
Sound the retreat.
But what about the king? Should we not...
Do as I command.
Slide butt naked down a planing belt into the...
Pull out! All of you, let's move!
Into the ocean. Slide down butt naked. You know the planing on a planer? You know the... Slide down that into the ocean. Front and back. Yeah. That sounds fun. By the way, Loghain being the... No, I know it's accessible. That's exactly the point I was making. If you want to see what was in charge of Failgarden. Actually, I had a realistic human point to make about how she felt about shit. Ashley's basic point was that the other races, the other alien races, were actually the racists. They're the ones that attack without cause, just because you're human. They're the ones that attack because of your skin color. They're the ones always causing problems, complaining and blaming you for what they do, and demanding that you fix their problems when they come to you for your knowledge, for your help, and for your development. And then they blame you for all their problems and demand that you fix their problems and sacrifice your lives to do so. And then the humans do it, and then they hate them even worse because they resent them because they were never worth a shit as a race in the first place. Doesn't mean you're racist in saying that. It means they proved their worthlessness by how they treated you, what they demanded from you, and then when they got it, they bit the hand that fed them. And if you needed a hand to feed you in the first place because you aren't anything that you say you are, and the person that's feeding you is what they are, then you hate them for it. Now that's racist. It's a real world principle from everyone calling whites racist. Racist how? You hate me for my skin color and I'm racist. Sorry, man. There's fatigue now. It's just fatigue. I'm tired of the false accusations, and I've been patient. I've been patient for, I don't know, decades. You can't be patient for 10 seconds when you're the one in the wrong in the first place.
Finally open.
Okay, well, what's that say about you and your... I'm not going to even say race. I'll just say culture. What's that say about you and your culture? You can't be patient for 10 seconds, but you demand that I be patient for years and give you all my stuff for free, or else I'm a racist. Fuck you, racist. You fucking piece of shit. Your entire philosophy that goes down that path, and it's all under that same flag that destroyed Bud Light and made Dragon Age Failguard, and thought Kamala Harris was a good thing, and murdered Tucker Carlson. Let's just be honest. It's that exact same philosophy. Sorry, man. I'm not the racist. Neither are any of the people you called racist. You know who the racist is? Everybody who's opening their fucking mouth calling white people racist. Bending over backwards and being patient for years and years. Eventually your patience snaps, and it's like, okay, how about instead of racist, how about I'm FAFO? Fuck around and find out. At some point. And that's a reaction. That's not actions. That's not thinking. That's responding to years and years and years and years of abuse. Shit, whites have been enslaved in our own country now under different rules. Taxes, being forced to swallow things that no other people, no other self-respecting people would swallow at the hands of people who have no argument, and their only hate is just based on hate because they're the actual racists. So let's just be honest there. Facts. You're not allowed to say these things. That's what I mean. Why aren't you allowed to say these things? You can't speak white boy. White boy is the exact equivalent of the N-word. Snow bunny is the exact equivalent of the N-word when used against somebody else. It's the exact equivalent. It's meant with the exact same disrespect, the exact same contempt, the exact same complete lack of value for another person based on their skin color. That's what white boy is. Y'all know that. That's a fact. But it's cool, right? And then you got a culture that can run around and call themselves the N-word 24/7, hoping you say it too, so that they can get offended and turn into a Karen. And if they outnumber you, then they'll do some fucking felonious acts against you. But it's okay if they do it. And if you defend yourself and respond, then guess what? You're a racist and a fucking terrorist and a Nazi and all that. You see that? I mean, the double standard. It's so beyond ludicrous. So beyond ridiculous that no people is going to ever tolerate that for any period of time. And anyway, nobody should have to give you your freedom. You should be able to take it. And if you couldn't take it, well, then your own insecurity and sense of self-worthlessness is what's driving you. Not anything I did 150 years before I was ever even born. Let's just be real. Your own sense of worthlessness, whoever you are. You gotta blame somebody. You didn't let me go. Why didn't you just fucking leave? Because you didn't let me. Okay, well then fight. Do something. Well, I'm fighting now. You're fighting on my dollar. Fighting me, who didn't do shit to you, on my dollar, when we already subjugated and said, okay, well, we don't have to, but we just will. But that's any people. There's more slavery today than there ever has been in the history of mankind anyway. Sex slavery is the worst of it. Sex slavery is the worst of it. And it's 90% white. No, I'd say not 90, probably about 70% white, probably about 25% Asian. I could say there's one or two cultures that aren't. Now you probably have to throw Hispanic culture in there. There's one culture that's complaining the loudest. Don't know that they're victims of that kind of slavery. There's got to be some stat in there, but the only people that'll give you the stats are the people doing it. Promoting it, doing it, allowing it, using your tax dollars to fund these people, giving them rent-free space in the country to perform their sex rings and stuff like that. Even worse than Epstein, even worse than any of that. This is deep political shit, but it's a reality. And being on the receiving end as if I'm fucking guilty of all this shit that I'd see the people being blamed, but the only people not doing it. That's what I see. And the only people making that a racial issue are the people screaming racist when they're the racist. It's fucking annoying. It's past being really, really old. Really, really old.
I am Morrigan, lest you have forgotten, and we are in the
Absolutely.
wilds where I am bandaging your wounds. You are welcome, by the way. How does your memory fare?
I know shipping Asian
Do
boys and
you
girls to
remember
foreign
Mother's
ports
rescue?
through organized mob activities, which goes all the way up to government, because they're not allowed to do this shit without any media spotlight at all, because the people the media support are the ones that are basically funding this shit and using your taxpayer dollars to do it, and then profiting underground from these types of things with payoffs and kickbacks and stuff like that. The corruption is so deep, it's so ridiculously spiderwebbed and convoluted, but at the same time being elegantly, if that's the right word, simple in its just absolute. It's just satanic as fuck. But yeah, no, Asian boys and girls, underage little boys and girls and things like that. The dark web's just full of that shit, right? So, not like I've been there, but that's just a fact. You know it's going to be there. You turn over a rock and what's hiding down there squirming in the dark, it's usually liberal. Oh well. All right. Let me plug my phone in. Give me a second. Remember, 90% of my work relies on Google Maps. So, yeah, by the time morning rolls around, my phone's going to be probably like 20%, and it's at 50 right now. So, yeah, let's top that shit off. All right. Anyway, well, let's get back to the game. Nice to at least expose all the world's problems. So now we get past that 20-minute expose all the world's problems session, and we'll just get back to this and fix all the world's problems, right? Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. They wouldn't even remaster Jade Empire, which, man, if any game really needs a remaster, man, an action kung fu RPG, come on, bro. It just sounds cool as shit. And no, I'm not talking about throwing a ninja suit that doesn't even look like a ninja suit into Dark Souls. No, I'm talking about like a literal kung fu ass RPG with a deep, like, I don't know, era storyline, you know? That was, come on, man. And apparently there's one line in there that might be considered racist, so they said, no, can't do that. We can't take the line out because it's integral to a fictional story. But it could offend somebody, so we can't do it. I say, whoever's offended by it, just who gives a fuck if they play your game or not? Make the game for people who don't give a shit about all that. Remember, the people that give a shit like that about that are the 1%. I play the shit out of a Jade Empire remaster with modern animations, combat, graphics, all that stuff. Man, I play the shit out of it. Kung Fu ninjas, all that. Like, man, that is just my shit. It's cooler than pirates. Prove me wrong. I know there'd be somebody, pirates are cooler than ninjas. F you, bro. No, they're not. No offense, but just saying. That would be the response you deserve.
Mother managed to save you and your friend, though.
Yeah, no, man. If they remastered Origins with Dragon Age 2's gameplay,
the man who was
incorporated all the tactical and skill,
the Darkspawn,
and just made it pretty much even across the board, and just make it a trilogy, and then put blood magic back in Inquisition like it's supposed to be, wouldn't affect the story writing or anything really. You had a voiced character. You had a voiced main character in Dragon Age 2, and it worked fine. Joe White is that made her literally my favorite voice actress. It pushed Jennifer Hale into second place just a little bit, because, well, Joe White she doesn't miss. She's like perfect all the time. And you find some way to shoehorn that shit back into Inquisition, and you'd have to do a lot with Inquisition. You'd have to speed it up. You'd have to treat it a little bit more like at least they did Inquisition multiplayer, which that shit actually really did work. They could do that. So it proves they're capable. Honestly, just remaster it on the Unreal Engine, and you can tweak it how you want. Because they even put, like, evade and dodge roll and shit into, Oblivion, right? Along with sprint, and it was seamless. Right? It was seamless. So, just do that.
All dead. Your friend has veered between denial and grief since Mother told him. He is outside by the fire. Mother asked to see you when you awoke. You were welcome. Though Mother did most of the work, I am no healer.
So Flemeth is actually a healer. Okay, she might be like an ancient old god dragon or something, but at least she's not a archdemon. She's not corrupted, so she's a healer too?
I will stay and make something to eat.
I can't do that.
See, here is your fellow Grey Warden. You worry too much, young man.
You're alive. I thought you were
So if
dead
that's
for
if
sure.
that's Flemeth's hut, where does Morgan have to sleep? Does she have to like sleep outside and shit? Out in the yard under a tree or? Hold on.
Oh, this doesn't seem real. If it weren't for Morrigan's mother, we'd be dead on top of that tower.
Do not talk about me as if I am not present, lad.
I didn't mean... But what do we call you? You've never told us your name?
Sure
Names are
says
pretty,
swooping
but
is bad.
useless.
Wait.
The chastened folk call me Flemeth. I
Oh,
suppose
hey,
it will do.
thanks, Fiend. I just saw that.
Flemeth?
I don't know why I didn't hear it.
From the
Probably
legend?
because I was busy running my mouth.
Daveth was right. You're the witch
Alistair
of the wilds,
says
aren't you?
swooping is
And
bad.
what does that mean?
Well,
I
swooping
know a
saved
bit
the
of
wardens,
magic,
and
it has
swooping
served you both
saved the
well,
hawks.
Has it not?
And swooping actually saves the Inquisitor, because Morgan does some swooping. I hope that's not a spoiler over 10 years later after the game came out, but yeah, there's swooping involved. Every time swooping is involved, some good shit happens, and the bad guys tend to die. Pretty sure swooping is good. But Alistair's stupid, so we can forgive him for that, right?
If you know what is good for you, I suppose you should.
As long as I have a place to sleep, so it's Morgan. Wow.
We need to bring Laaaaate to judgment. Why would he do this?
Now that
Here it
is
is,
a good
listen.
question. Men's hearts hold shadows darker than any tainted creature. Perhaps he believes the Blight is an army he can outmaneuver. Perhaps he does not see that the evil behind it is the true threat.
The Archdemon.
The Archdemon. Duh. That's not what Flemeth was saying. The Archdemon is the Blight. There is no Blight without the Archdemon. What Flemeth just said is... What she literally just said is... Perhaps they are not aware that the threat behind the Blight, including the Archdemon, is the true threat. Well, who would that be? If it's not an Archdemon, who would that be? I guess the only one that was ever called an Archdemon that was never killed, and who's been behind this shit from the beginning. Religiously, you would call it the devil. In Dragon Age, you called it Dumat. Now, what did she say? Men's, why would Laaaaate do this? We're talking about Laaaaate, right? So follow the subject and the object through the conversation so we know what we're talking about. Why would Laaaaate do this? That's a good question. Men's, Laaaaate specifically, hearts, what actually controls you, that your heart, your mind, right? Your soul, like who you are, what you think with. Man's hearts hold shadows darker than any tainted creature. So this isn't like some kind of influence from a darkspawn. Maybe a blood mage, but that is what Dumat is. The first blood mage. With the capacity to fucking turn into a dragon at will. Not a whole different than Arvenius, who's probably the hardest dragon fight in all of Dragon Age put together when you do Legacy in Dragon Age 2. The dude's half spirit, half dragon. Like he's half in and out of the Fade. Okay? Avernus. I think that's his name, Avernus. If you played Legacy on your way to do the Corypheus thing, you know what I'm talking about. That's the hardest dragon fight ever. Just in any Dragon Age game. By far. In my opinion. Maybe, oh, yeah, I found that shit easy. Okay, well, just send me the quick notes then, so I can do it really easy too, because that thing is a bitch. Just even getting to it with the 5 billion spiritual skeleton summoned archers and all that shit. Anyway, I'm digressing. Again, like you said. Thanks, Jedi. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so said men's, speaking about Loghain, hearts hold shadows darker than any tainted creature. Do you know what the definition of the name Dumont is? It's shadow. Men's hearts hold shadow. She just told you who is controlling Loghain, why Loghain's doing all this bullshit, and that the threat behind the blight is stronger than the blight itself. Remember, Loghain does more to destroy Ferelden than the blight could ever do. And he does half that shit before Ostagar ever even happens. Destroying all the knights, all the earls, all the bands, inciting civil war, destroying the Circle Tower with Uldred, who he has a covenant with, right? Selling all the fucking elves out of the alienage to fund the money to send mercenary, child molesting, rapist, murdering, thug fucking released criminals into Ferelden society, while he takes honest people of fighting age and fighting ability and brings them into Castle Drakon and tortures them to death. Like, it's not enough to just kill them where they're at, but no, you got to torture them to death because you have a sadistic pleasure in doing so. This all screams Dumont. The only one he doesn't directly fuck with is the dwarfs until you put a king on the throne. Once you put a king on the throne with the dwarfs, what does Loghain do? The very first thing he does is he sends an ambassador, assassin, to give king's poison, which is something the dwarves have never even seen before. So it doesn't come from the dwarves. Send king's poison to kill the king on the throne. Some poor little servant girl ingests this shit, and it literally sends her into the exact same type of coma that the Arl of Redcliffe is under. Imagine that. Prove me wrong. This is actually shit that happens in the game. We're not even talking about lore books and theories and... No, fuck that. This is evidence from the actual game itself. It tells you and shows you all of this. This really explains the foundation and the structure built on that foundation of all the lore of Dragon Age right here in the start, and, well, as you play through the game, obviously. Now, those questions are answered and those theories, but that's how masterful the writing is, that it takes 2 or 3 games to go back to the beginning and figure out what actually happened in the first place. You want to know another game that's a lot like that? Made by the exact same fucking people? Mass Effect. You don't really know what's really up with the Reapers until you get to Mass Effect 3. Like, there's really not even an explanation that really tells you just how deep indoctrination goes and why indoctrination is a thing, and the logic loop. It's almost like a glitch, if you will, that the Reapers are stuck in, even though they're like god-tier machines, right? They're still just fundamentally a fucking Texas Instruments calculator, just on steroids. A lot of steroids, but that's basically it. And when you throw organics in there, the organics aren't anything to a Reaper. The organics are only useful if they become a machine, because the Reapers can't have life. And the only way you could argue that a machine can have life is if you say that you're God, because you would have to create a machine with the capacity to have life, which means that you're a god yourself, which is, well, that's the God complex. That's where the psychology breaks, and that's why these people saying AI is going to do this and AI is going to do that. If you program it to, it will, but it can't think for itself. Thinking is something only a brain can do, a living person can do. A machine cannot think. A man would have to give it the ability to think. But these same men can't give each other the ability to think. Have you ever listened to a woke person? Sorry, man. Doesn't work. If you need more evidence than that, you're just trying to argue against the void, and yeah, just go shout into outer space. Maybe it'll draw you up and you can fall into the sky like a dwarf or something. Because you'll never, ever win against logic and truth. You'll never, ever win. You're afraid of AI. Why? Because a man created it? Well, you should be afraid of a nuke if somebody drops it on your face. AI is only bad if somebody drops it on your face. Because a machine can't think. Self-aware, growing, existing AI. No. Using current programming given by a person, people act the same way. You got rogue AI, you got rogue people. Indoctrination or brainwashing satanic possession makes woke people. Bad programming that leads to the opportunity for a machine to logically conclude that programming and turn violent and turn against you is from people. It's the exact same thing, right? It's that simple. That literally, that puts every professor that ever existed talking about this shit out of business, because it's just the simple truth, and there's no arguing around it. So,
Kaelin already summoned them. They'll come if they can, but I expect Loghain has already taken steps to stop them.
Yeah, it sucks that they changed the ending, right? That was the most woke ass shit they ever did, because that was the best ending to a video game I've ever seen in my life. The game actually allowed you to be indoctrinated as a player in the real world, as if all that Reaper shit had actually gone down. You could be indoctrinated based on your decisions, based on the definition of indoctrination given to you throughout the entire game. If you didn't pay attention and you were ignorant, you were indoctrinated, just like the people in the game. And bad shit happened because of that, right? These same people that complain really loudly, they're also the same people that tore down the BioWare forums and then march really, really loudly, and they fucking hate ICE, and they think Kamala's a good thing, and they fucking Trump is a racist somehow, and yeah, all this other, and let's just, I don't know, pour some fucking acid on a $200 million painting that can never ever be replaced, and let's tear down some statues too. I think ISIS did that as well, didn't they? Under the exact same psychology. Prove me wrong. True story. Anyway. Exact same people that complained about a fucking video game patch because they didn't understand the ending. No, the ending actually was an accusation. Really. Against a modern political, spiritual, psychological state of mind, condition. And half the people, I'd say over half the people, based on what they said on Twitter, or yeah, Twitter at the time, still Twitter, everybody still calls it Twitter, right? Based on everything the BioWare put out every single day regarding Mass Effect and Dragon Age stuff. Remember when they were like super social every single day? Yeah, that shit ended after their fucking forums got shut down because they couldn't prevent the toxic people that they helped create going fucking batshit crazy and saying stupid shit that no sane person would say, and just trying to make everybody's lives miserable. It's the Karen religion. Woke is the Karen religion. It's literally satanic possession. Because nobody thinks and speaks that way, unless you've just given yourself over completely to evil. Either you're that stupid or you're just that bad, or whatever. That's not for me to judge. But hey, the symptoms declare what's wrong with you. So there you go, man. That's pretty simple, right? Definitely something to think about.
The throne? He's the Queen's father. Still, I can't see how he'll get away with murder.
You speak as if he would be the first king to gain his throne that way. Grow up, boy.
If Al-Eamon knew what he did, he would never stand for it. The Landsmeet would never stand for it. There would be civil war.
Of course, I don't know. It's not that black and white to me. It's my opinion, but it's based on the years I spent playing the game and the conclusion that I drew at the ending. And I thought it was wonderful. There's really one true ending to Mass Effect 3. It's when you turn and tell the indoctrinating piece of program shit, and it's only evil because it's learned that from all the civilizations that it's conquered, and the fact that, well, I'm not going to say a majority of people are bad every single time, all the time, but it's certainly a large percentage. And if that's what you gather, that these bad people always seem to win, so you'll just take the bad from the good in terms of logic and whatever, then that seems to be what the Reapers drew from everybody leading up until the point that they appeared to be evil. Ghosting and regurgitating and copying and pasting everything that they had seen of human or biological behavior from all the races over eons of time. I mean, how many billions of races had been consumed and destroyed over the eons that the Reapers had been doing this shit since the quote-unquote beginning? And then you got to think that the person that created the original creators of the Reapers, whatever that was, obviously long dead by billions and billions of years or whatever, that thing had to be created by something. Anyway, but maybe you're not supposed to think about it that far. Anyway, it doesn't really matter in as far as the game story goes. It was always turn and shoot the, the catalyst? Turn and shoot the catalyst in the face. I'm not going to do a single fucking thing you tell me to, because I'm actually a living person. And you know what separates a living person from everything else? Free will. Free will that comes from a person's ability to create, think for itself, make a decision without any input whatsoever. You can dream. You can't create with your hands. You can't program with your hands something that can dream, think, and feel. Forget nerve endings. Forget nerve endings. And forget these woke people pretending to be offended, which is a lot more like a machine, a possessed fucking computer, than it is a human being. But no, actually, like, legitimately being hurt. Like your wife cheating on you, or your husband cheating on you, or losing a family member, and actually not the regret from poems regurgitated from writers over the last 6,000-7,000 years or something. No, I'm talking about like actually feeling it. Feeling the feelings that led to the writing of those poems. That's something a machine can never do. Because there's no human being capable of transferring that to an inanimate object, which is a computer. It's animate, it's got electricity. No, it's a computer that's powered like a light bulb. Light bulbs don't dream. They eventually go out and then you replace them. That's it, that's all. So, yeah. The original ending was turn around and shoot that motherfucker in his face. Destroy. Okay, so for you to think, let's say the devil came up to you and said, I'm going to stop doing bad things if we make this deal. You control me and you let me in and tell me what it is to not be evil. And you say, okay, so you're going to tell me that all the demons are going to do what I say because I say so. There's a magic, the devil is a good guy, and everything's going to be great button. And I can just push that if I just submit to allow you to just get a little bit of taste of life. And that's really the same deal that demons make with mages in Dragon Age. They want a little taste of living life in the flesh because they're just this fucking evil-ass spirit thing. There's this thing. Well, machines aren't even that deep because there's no spirit or soul or anything there. They're just a heavily sophisticated program thing that can think a billion times faster than you can because that's what they're programmed to do. That's it, that's all. So, either destroy or literally, like, push the destroy button to make a decision so that in the next cycle, we'll know how to deal with you. So why would you even give the machines that? Why not just shoot them in their fucking face? I'll tell you what, I'm not going to push. Okay, here's choice A is this button. Choice B is this button. Choice C is this button. Choice D is all of the above. How about choice E? None of the above. I'm going to shoot you in your bitch fucking face, and we can fight it out until I'm dead. And the next me that comes along is eventually going to kick your ass for good. That's the human spirit. That was the lesson of the ending of Mass Effect 3 the entire time. But woke people have to indoctrinate. They have to socialize. They have to communize. They have to pervert. They have to corrupt. They have to infect. They have to possess. They have to share their evil spirits so everybody's on the same page, making sure that nothing good is agreed with, and everything, and the entire evil agenda from Cain, who killed Abel, because he's a murderer like his father, the devil, all the way up until the motherfucker's shouting in the crowd, here's God manifest in the flesh, crucify him! You gotta kill him! He never did anything wrong! We're evil, but he's exposing it! Kill him, kill him, kill him! Just like canceling anybody who tells the truth these days. The Kenites, their writing has never changed. It's never changed from the beginning, and it's the same now, 2,000 years after that. Now we just got computers, so that writing spreads a whole lot faster. People are possessed and indoctrinated a whole lot quicker. And when that shit completely infects all your schools, all your churches, all your governments, and all of your banks, then you've got what you've got today. Now that's a fact. So there's a pretty good life lesson that I think we could all learn today, because it makes absolute perfect sense because it's true. There you go. Anyway, so yeah, you got to complain about anything, even coming from a fucking video game. And they actually were able to force the developers to rewrite it and just completely sacrifice, just completely forfeit the point that they originally made in the original Mass Effect ending. They just forfeited it. And they spent all that time making a trilogy that is basically the only trilogy in history that they didn't really try to milk it. They just said, this game is over. This is the last page of the book. I hope you enjoyed it. That was some pretty gangster shit at the time from any developer. Oh my God, let's make a Mass Effect 19 and make it like, I don't know, a fucking platformer. That's what would have happened with anybody else. No, they made Mass Effect 1, 2, 3. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. That's the book. I respected that at the time. I mean, they lost that respect over time, but I mean, at the time, that was some respectful shit, because nobody was doing that. Nobody would tell the whole story that was highly profitable, was one of the better games out for that generation, and just say, that's it, that's the end. Hope you would go replay it because it's worth replaying. This was our book, this was our writing, this was our painting. I hope you enjoy it. You gotta respect that. Come on.
I suppose. Al-Eamon wasn't at Ostagar. He still has all his men. And he was Kaelin's uncle. I know him.
Oh,
He's
you're
a
never
good man,
Yes, you are.
respected
You're
in the
given the
land.
choice to decide.
Of course.
Yeah, you are.
We could
It's,
go to Redcliffe
what
and
do they call
appeal
it?
to him for help.
You absolutely side with the Reapers. 100%. There's a word for it. Where you do what they tried to do the entire time. It's not synergy. It's not synergy, but it's the option where you take on all the Reapers, but you become indoctrinated. I mean, you become a husk. Allow us to make you a husk, because see, synthesis. That's your siding with the Reapers. The Reapers tried to make you a husk. You understand? Please tell me you understand this basic shit. And it goes all the way back to Mass Effect 2. You're dead. You were actually reconstructed using Reaper tech by Cerberus, who is the literal actual tool of the Reapers in this particular cycle. Back in Javik's day, it was the Protheans. That was the Cerberus of that time. The Reapers have always implanted a Cerberus in every single cycle since the beginning of ever. It's just part of it. Subterfuge. So they made you a husk. Like, your human emotions actually make the implants flare up because a machine can't process that shit. That's why you get, the awesome badass, I'm going to go renegade anyway, because literally Paragon is woke. Paragon is indoctrinated. Paragon is satanic possession. That type of politically correct thinking and being nice to motherfuckers that need to die, literally need to die according to God's law, need to die. Child molesters, sex traffickers, murderers, terrorists, they need to die. And if you actually have the judicial authority to kill them, you're supposed to kill them. If you have the judicial authority to do so. That's a fact. You don't like it, doesn't make it less true. Right? So, you are made a Reaper. Shepard, essentially, by all physical accounts, is a Reaper. But even after giving you your life back, now this is where it kind of gets cloudy, because it's like, why would God put your soul back in your body? Cerberus certainly couldn't have dictated that, but maybe just as a lesson. So there's no such thing as reincarnation, but still, you were dead as long as, I guess, God said you were dead. Man's credentials, as far as that goes, well, it's not up to man to decide those things. So, okay, if your soul left your body for, I don't know, a couple years, you were just never dead as far as he was concerned, and let's just go ahead and make you conscious again and let these people think they made you a husk. Now you just got a bad fucking attitude, but you got the ability to kick just a little bit more ass. And you get to look really cool and, like, you know, with all your glowing ass red scars and your fucking demonic eyes and all this and that. And that's how you're supposed to be portrayed if you do the right thing. That says a lot about the developers and where their morals and ethics are. Definitely politically correct rainbow Satanists who fucking do harm to everything that they fucking talk to or touch. But, yeah, they actually make you a husk. And they still can't break your will. The Reapers can actually call to you. If you play that DLC, what's the DLC called at the end of Mass Effect 2? There's a Reaper that's actually able to overload all of your implants and actually knock you unconscious. And it's just a bit of a Reaper tech, right? It's in, you know, the one where eventually you cause the asteroid to smash into the Mass Effect relay that all the Reapers are going to use to come into galaxy space, right? From dark space. Yeah. I forget what the name of that DLC is. But anyway, yeah. Reaper Tech is actually able to knock you unconscious. But it can't indoctrinate you. Why is Shepard the only one that cannot be indoctrinated? Why? That's the whole point of the game. Because you have will. Because you have human will. I live. Therefore I am. You're not. You try to subjugate me, you're not. While a lot of the people that made the game are guilty of the same type of subjugating through woke philosophies and policies, political correctness, liberal, left-leaning thinking, is the exact same type of shit that indoctrination is made of. It's got all the exact same resumes. Go look at it for yourself. And if you're a woke person, you're never going to admit the truth because you're not allowed to because you're woke. Remember, pride was Satan's foal. If you're possessed, if you're demonic, if you're woke, if you're a liberal, one of these raging fucking Karens with weird colored hair, not knowing if you're a boy or a girl or not, if you're that confused, you're possessed. And if you're possessed, you can't possibly admit that you are. Because pride comes before the fall. That was Satan's downfall, was pride. His spirits, his spirit and his little followers, their spirits, that's notorious. That's how you know what they are. Jesus is the only thing that can knock that out of you, and it, well, has to be with the truth. So, anyway, I think we got away from Mass Effect. Hold on, I'm gonna go refill. I'll be back. Arrival. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Arrival. Yeah, the Reapers can actually overwhelm your implants and actually like knock you unconscious. But even then, when you snap to, they still cannot indoctrinate you. How can you turn any human to a husk just from being near Reaper tech? Shepard is actually rebuilt with nothing but Reaper tech. That is Reaper tech. All of it. Cerberus has been studying Reapers for a long time. It indoctrinated the Elusive Man way back at the beginning, which became an agent for the Reapers. Always had been. No secret there. If that's a secret to you, well then, fuck, you didn't pay any attention to the game. You should probably go play through the trilogy 19 more times and figure that shit out for yourself. That's not hard. So.
Such determination. How intriguing.
Yeah, Pinnacle Station was the only one that was left out.
No, if
the arena's in there
would be enough.
And it's almost impossible. They completely destroyed it.
Horde by himself.
They ruined it. Every Shepherd is literally a soldier adept infiltrator with a sniper minigun while they can throw warp without cooldown. And you might fight a couple of them at a time. It's only doable if you want to grind through some cheating bullshit for about, I don't know, several hours. It's the worst shit ever. But the original arena, that was actually some kind of cool shit. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway.
Of course. The treaties.
Dude, how long have we been talking?
Grey
And Alistair
Wardens can
just
demand
remembered that we
aid
had the
from
Warden
dwarves,
treaties,
elves, mages,
which is
and
the
other
entire
places.
point of
They're
being a Warden in the
obligated to
first
help us
place.
during the
It
Blight.
literally took this dude
I may
30
be
minutes
old, but dwarves,
to figure out that
elves, mages,
not 1
this
plus 1 is
all even, and who
two,
knows what
but
else.
just that 1 is
This
1.
sounds like an
That's how
army
long it
to
took
me.
Alistair to figure out 1 is
can we do
actually
this?
1.
Go
And if
to
you add
Redcliffe
1
and these
to
other
1,
places and
it's
build an army.
Hold on, I'll be back to you next week. And he'll come back, 1 plus 1 is 2. Can you believe it? As if it's the first time anybody ever heard of such a thing. That's really how dense he is. No, he's just that stupid.
So you are set then.
Anyway.
Ready to be
Kind
Grey
of
Warden.
ridiculous. Yeah, the Warden treaties, of course. Duh. I'm serious, man.
No, thank you. You are the Grey Wardens here, not I.
Hilarious.
Now, before you go, there is yet one more thing I can offer you.
The stew is bubbling, Mother dear. Shall we have 2 guests for the eve, or none?
The Grey Wardens are leaving shortly, girl. And you will be joining them.
Such a shame. What?
You heard me, girl. The last time I looked, you had ears.
Have I no say in this?
You have been itching to get out of the wilds for years. Here is your chance. As for you, Wardens, consider this repayment for your lives.
Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but won't this add to our problems? Out of the wilds, she's an apostate.
If you do not wish help from us illegal mages, young man, perhaps I should have left you on that tower.
Point taken.
Mother, this is not how I wanted this. I'm not even ready.
You must be ready. Alone, these two must unite for Eldon against the Darkspawn. They need you, Morrigan. Without you, they will surely fail, and all will perish under the Blight. Even I
understand.
And you, Wardens, do you understand? I give you that which I value above all in this world. I do this because you must succeed.
Allow me to get my things, if you please.
Morgan. Poor thing.
I am at your disposal, Grey Wardens. I suggest a village north of the wilds as our first destination. 'Tis not far, and you will find much you need there. Or, if you prefer, I shall simply be your silent guide. The choice is yours.
I prefer you speak your mind.
You will regret saying that.
Dear, sweet mother, you are so kind to cast me out like this. How fondly I shall remember this moment.
Well, I always said, if you want something done, do it yourself. Or hear about it for a decade or two afterwards.
Do you really want to take her along because her mother says so? I guess you're right. The Grey Wardens have always taken allies where they could find them.
I am so pleased to have your approval.
No sarcasm. No sarcasm at all.
I may have answers. Ask. From time to time, I have been to the village I mentioned, watched its people, and pondered what curious beings they are. On occasion, I purchased goods from the village merchants. There I spoke with men a little. There they stared and knew me as an outsider. Mother wishes for me to expand the horizon of my experience beyond the wilds. Even she was not born here.
Ooh, so not just the Witch of the Wilds, not just that. I'm telling you, all these little hints lead me to believe that Flemeth is where the legend of Andraste actually came from. Andraste is worshipped as a dragon by the cult up there in Haven. Well, Flemeth can become a dragon at will. That dragon up there is a high dragon, but I guess it's stuck in that form from something probably anchored in the Fade from a long time ago or some shit like that. Not really sure. Anyway, whatever. Flemeth could become a dragon at will. Andraste is worshipped as a dragon up there in Haven, right next to her actual ashes, by a cult that wants you to actually destroy Andraste's ashes so they can worship the physical form of the dragon rather than Andraste herself, who they probably figure is gone in the spirit. So let's make a religious cult that can see and feel something, and whatever. And we can just raise little dragonlings and murder anybody that actually comes to Haven and just be to ourselves. And what's the fucking point of any of that in the first place? Monks or what? You got the light of the world and you're going to hide it in your little cell and be religious amongst people who don't talk? And what's the point of that? If you got a light, you take it outside and shine it for people. You don't hide it under a bushel. Because guess what? It's going to set your whole house on fire. You're serving no purpose whatsoever. Anyway, but if Flemeth, being a dragon, is actually where the legend of Andraste came from, all the chantry, because remember, Tevinter has a chantry too. It's a black chantry. Or at least that's what Fereldans call it. Either way, bottom line, still stems back to the same shit. They even got their own version of a circle, and they got their own version of Templars, who are basically glorified bodyguards. Well, guess what? That's kind of the thing here in Ferelden too, no matter how you want to look at it. True story. I think Flemeth is not only Mythal with the elves, but Andraste with the humans. She's not actually either of those, technically. She's more Mythal than anything, I guess. But she's human, so she's definitely not an elf. Is she a half-elf? Was, what's his face? Was Dumat an elf? Corypheus certainly looks like an elf. He's just got a bunch of fucking red lyrium overgrowing all of his shit, so you can't really tell. But the pointy ears tell it all, don't they? Well, he's got some pointy red lyrium ears. And he's taller than any human, so I'm guessing Corypheus is an elf. So Dumat probably was too. And Dumat enslaved his own kind, and Solus said, well, I'm not going to be having that shit, so I'm going to tear apart heaven and earth to make sure that shit doesn't happen. So I'm going to learn some blood magic as powerful as your blood magic, which you're going to use to bring yourself out of the void to come kill me and everybody else. And then an elf is going to lead the First Inquisition, except the Chantry is going to credit that to a human because, well, I don't know, fucking Andraste was apparently either half-elf or whatever. So that's kind of how I'm seeing how shit actually went down back then, and not all this fluffed up fucking using old god this and blah blah blah, using a bunch of fancy words that have no definition. That's just trying to sound fancy, and you don't have any idea what the fuck is going on. I'm not saying I do either, but I'm paying attention to what the game is telling me, and listening to, reading between the words, and stuff that people who actually know about this stuff actually say. So That's just where I'm coming from. Alright, that's it.
Farewell, Mother.
Let's go.
Do not forget the stew on the fire. I would hate to return to a burned-down hut.
Bah! 'Tis far more likely you will return to see this entire area, along with my hut, swallowed up by the blight.
All I meant was...
Yes, I know. Do try to have fun, dear.
I think I got something from Morgan. Yeah, I definitely got this. Now see, that defense, but then you got the spell resistance. Definitely a bigger missile deflection. Strength modifier is the same. I think that actually helped us in the Kakari Wilds. I think it did. I got 15 acid flasks. That's going to come in handy because I'm going to use those. Right? Sell that for now. I don't know that. Well, I'll hang on to that, I guess. 6 venom.
A fine gift. You have my thanks. A fine gift. You have my thanks.
That was 8 plus 9 is 17. That still didn't move her up a notch? Alright, can we talk to her now?
The time has come to leave the wilds. Do you not agree?
Well, I was hoping that... Oh, never mind. Always make your mages ranged. Always. Let's see, self-any. Frost weapons. Mana or stamina greater than 50. What kind of fucking setting is that? This is just assuming you don't have any idea how tactics works, I guess. Which is good. A little bit of misleading, actually. You're either just going to just not bother, or you're going to dig into what the game actually has to offer and say, oh my god, tactics are like half of the gameplay. Like, this is where the rewarding shit comes in. Your crafting of tactics actually shows up in the gameplay as you play through the entire game. And the more your party works like a machine, the more rewarding it is. Like I say, if you're not using tactics, you're cheating yourself out of 50% of the game and about 80% of the gameplay. Because you're just stuck with, like, pausing and turn-basing, and it's not a turn-based game. I mean, it almost is, but still. Let's see, what abilities do I have? She's got a bunch. A lot of this stuff is no good. Winter's Grasp. Agree with that. We can make some of these too. Wish she had one more tactic slot. She's not going to get one for a long time. She's already got those, though. Damn, 8 of those.
Tell me.
What?
Let's get a solid save there. All right. I think we got everything we want at that point. Let me get another save. Figures, right? We get Puppy Bro.
And I expect each of you to supply these men. We must rebuild what was lost at Ostagar, and quickly.
This thing murdered everybody
There are
at Ostagar.
those who would take advantage of our
With the Darkspawn.
weakened state if we let them. We must defeat this Darkspawn incursion, but we must do so sensibly and without hesitation.
Your lordship, if I might speak. You have declared yourself Queen Anora's regent, and claim we must unite under your banner for our own good.
We saw it happen
But
at
what of the
Ostagar.
army lost at Ostagar? Your withdrawal was most fortuitous.
Everything I have done has been to secure Ferelden's independence. I have not
Depends on
shirked
who
my
you're-
duty
on who
to
you're
the
fighting.
throne, and neither will any of you.
The Banorn will not bow to you simply because you demand it.
Understand this. I will brook no threat to this nation from you or anyone.
It's a lot of corpses in the game, and I believe they're immune to frost. Revenants are immune to
Van
frost.
please!
Your Majesty, your father risks civil war. If Eamon were here...
Van my father is doing what is best.
Did he also do what was best for your husband, Your Majesty?
Fucking father's a traitor coward, and you know it. But she's still trying to find a political angle. She's such a piece of shit. So like, fire's gonna be good against like wolves, people. Trying to remember if it has any effect on like golems and stuff. I think I think it has an effect, but they're not weak or immune to it, right? Ice affects dragons, rage demons, humans. Humans may not be weak to it, but it's still going to affect them, right? So it's that type of thing. I think frost affects more enemies. You're always going to have exceptions. Wags his tail happily. Oh, He says, we did that and my teeth aren't even tired yet. Just pet the dog, man.
I think he was out there looking for you. He's chosen you. Mabari are like that. They call it imprinting.
Does this mean we're going to have this mangy beast following us about now? Wonderful.
He's not mangy.
Well, I mean, Inquisition dumbs it down. They tried very hard to be Skyrim. In the development of Inquisition, they studiously, they aggressively studied Skyrim in their game development. Well, that's the worst thing you could possibly do to an RPG. I mean, why are you going to try to be somebody else when, I mean, like, literally, there was a time where BioWare and Bethesda were each on top of the mountaintop, and they had like cousin games that complemented each other. You had Dragon Age, you had Elder Scrolls, you had Mass Effect, and you had Fallout. You know, guns or spells, you know, swords or mini nukes, you know, whatever, right? So, like, you had that, it was complementary. And they just said, well, I'm going to forfeit everything that makes me great, and I'm going to try to be the worst of what you're good at. And they're like, well, I'm forfeiting everything I'm good at, too. So let me just fucking suck on purpose, and we can all suck together. And then people can spend their money on nothing for no other reason except to dumb them down and turn them into a bunch of fucking woke zombies that are willing to just smoke their dope and get Doritos dust on their fingers, you know, at $15 fucking a bag. And yeah, they won't know any better because everybody's stupid and we're amazing because we're the 1%ers that write all the rules and make people bad through an entertainment device like movies and music and video games. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah, I've always wanted a dog. I may be getting a dog here pretty soon. Starfield was a big flop like... Wait, hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Starfield was a big flop like... Anthem? Let's make a space game that's already failed miserably in the exact same genre, in the exact same way, but put our name on it and expect it to do differently. If you repeat the same thing over and over again, the exact same way, expecting a different result, there's a definition for that. See, creating Starfield and creating Anthem, when everybody said, we don't want that shit. Where's the next Skyrim? The next Elder Scrolls is going to be a lot like what Failguard was. Maybe not to the, like, hyper aggressive satanic political woke extent, like not aggressively replacing Bud Light with tranny piss, right? Maybe not like that, like Failguard was, but it'll be along those lines. I'm just calling it now. If it ever happens, I hope it doesn't. I hope they just don't have the money to do it and they just flop and fail. But Microsoft now owns them, so I guess. But what political ideologies, what standards, what pattern do they have to keep? This is like some Reaper shit. You can create and make art, but it has to be within this square box of woke ideals and philosophies. It has to go along with the global agenda to make everybody a fucking zombie. That's the pattern. That's the standard that everything has to pass, or else it doesn't make it. You'll see that, right? Like I said, that's not that hard. Nothing gets said politically. Nothing gets passed on the news. Nothing makes it into a movie or a video game or music, unless it promotes a certain agenda, unless it mushes up the brain. And I'm going to give you some actual reference. I'm going to give you some actual evidence to exactly what I'm saying. It said, out of the smoke came locusts. And these locusts were like scorpions. And they could hurt men. Right? They couldn't do anything to those who had the truth, sealed in their foreheads, which is where your brain is. It's what you fucking think with. If you got the mark of the beast in there, you're not thinking for yourself, right? But if you have the truth in your brain, then you see this stuff, and these scorpions can't hurt you. What these scorpions do, what does the scorpion do? It secretes its digestive juices into your spine and turns you into a spineless jellyfish. Like you have nothing. It removes your entire backbone so they can devour you. It's a pretty good natural example of what you call it woke, but it's just what Satan's philosophy. When they get a hold of you and you listen to it, they literally make you a spineless piece of shit. If you especially if you call yourself a Christian, if you don't have any truth, you don't have anything. You don't have any armor. All the armor is based on truth. Oh yeah, you talk about faith and love and hope and this and that and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's all good. It all comes from truth. If you have the truth, the revealed truth, like the obvious truth that the entire world is missing. Oh, they're going to call you all kinds of things, cult and this and that and blah blah blah. But if you're constantly speaking truth, the naysayers aren't really going to have anything to hang on because you're just spitting facts. I'm going to talk about spitting facts into a mic saying that, yeah, a rapist thug that's a pimp knows the struggle, so he's allowed to, kidnap and rape women and sell dope and murder to support his pimping because pimping is good. That's not facts. That's Satan's asshole. And it's in your brain. And if you're down with that and you died, the world would be a better place. No, spitting facts is spitting truth. Evil is evil, good is good. And the world's pretty much full of shit at this point. Across the board. All four horsemen, they got big horseshoes on their hooves right now, trampling down shit. What are the four horsemen? Religion, education, economy, and politics. Just go look at it for yourself. Still don't see it? Well, ask for understanding then, I guess, because it's so simple a child can understand it. That's a fact. Anyway, I'm going to call him... Call him Bark Snarly. Bark Snarly. Instead of Bob Marley, I'm going to call him Bark Snarly. You can also call him Bob Snarly, too. That works. Snarly. Man, my family, all of our dogs, we call our dogs so much different shit that about the only thing they respond to eventually is basically a cheese wrapper because they have no idea what you're even saying at some point. Like they become like really neurotic because they're maybe a little bit confused, but they're happy. So you can be confused and happy. That's ignorance is bliss, I guess. Kind of like what Alistair says to Dog. He says, ignorance is bliss. The dog is 100% not ignorant of anything you're saying, but yeah. Point taken.
Wake up, gentlemen. More travelers to attend to. Led by an elf, of all things.
They don't look much like them others. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense.
Probably going to do this fight and then call it a day.
Travelers.
Highwaymen, preying on those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
I'm going to get up a little earlier today.
Get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
Got to go buy
How is that anyway?
headlight lamps again. Dude, as soon as I fix the thing on my car, something else breaks. No, it's literally like that. I can't even get a couple days without something else breaking. And headlights are not that big of a deal. I don't have one of those cars where like a headlamp section costs like $2,000 and shit. I don't have one. You can just replace a bulb and it's not that hard to do. Thank God. But yeah, it's just one thing after another. Delivered all last night, and I know damn well the headlights were working. Came home, and then went to go pick up my friend and take her home. Lights out. And I'm like, oh man, please don't let me get pulled over. I mean, I'm probably not going to get a ticket for that, but still.
Indeed, for the upkeep of the Imperial Highway.
Is this on the 360? No, this is on the Series X. It's on the Series X. It doesn't really mess with this. It doesn't really mess with the game. It does a lot of bad shit to the Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2, it's really bad. But here, I don't really... Honestly, the only thing I see from Origins on the Series X is sometimes... No, that actually happens more on Dragon Age 2 as well. I think the only thing is really just a whole lot faster loading screens. Loading screens only take a second instead of like 30 seconds sometimes. Other than that, gameplay seems the same. The frame rate is super smooth, super solid. I don't think they included the option for enhanced frame rate on Origins. So the enhanced frame rate option, just it being there, fucks up Dragon Age 2 in a bunch of different ways. Like, it's really bad. Hold on. I mean, we might make it a little more past this fight, but yeah, this will probably be, yeah, we're on the stretch run now. I've got to I got to get some sleep. I really haven't had a night's sleep in the last 2 days, which is cool for the holidays because that's like a holiday thing, right? Got stuff to do. Okay, cool, but do have to work tonight. And last night, man, by the end of the night, fuck. I mean, honestly, I was just gonna go to sleep and just say fuck streaming because. I mean, I didn't even get to even start the stream till like 2 o'clock. And I was like, why bother? You know, but it's the weekend and a lot of you guys are in other parts of the world, other countries and stuff. And if I'm not streaming late at night at my time, then you guys probably can't come hang out, you know, because it'll be like regular daytime, your time. And in your evenings might be spent, you know, working or doing other things or whatever. So, yeah, I like to, on the weekends, especially Friday, Saturday, I like to be able to get on anywhere between like 11 and 5 in the morning. So even if it's already like 2 or 3 in the morning, I'll at least jump on for a couple hours. Kind of what I planned tonight. Yeah, but I still got to get some sleep so I can get to work today. I don't like driving tired. That's not smart to do. It's really not smart to do.
You want to pay more? Well, we'll happily accept donations. I could be mistaken, but that sounded threatening.
Sounded like a threat to me.
Interesting.
Sound like a threat to me.
You seem a bit outnumbered.
Come on, man. It's still, whatever.
Did she say she's a Grey Warden? Them ones killed the king.
Traitors to Ferelden, I hear. Taryn Logain put quite a bounty on any who are found.
Are them Grey Wardens
Him and Alistair speak the same.
Really good.
Him and them's Alistair speak the same language.
Well, let's forget about the toll. We'll just leave you to your darkspawn fighting, king-killing ways.
You know, I could use a donation, actually.
You don't say.
They is really good, boss. Remember?
Well, yes. 20 silvers? That's all we've collected today. Then take it. Do enjoy your stay in Lothering and all that.
And I did notice that you actually, when you tell this dude to give you more money, he actually does. And then you get to kill him anyway, which is... Dude, this is like the best of all worlds. Let's see, what about Puppy Bro? We have abilities, so what do we have? Howl is like a debuff. Say normal or higher. Yeah, we'll just do that. Default behavior. War dog. I love those stats. War dog stats.
I see enemies ahead. Ha! Ah! Got it. Ah! Now better than later.
For the Grey Wardens!
I love how desperate you are. You're pathetic. I'll get on it. All right. I'll get you a letter so you can get off my back. You're gonna regret this. Oh. Got it. I'll get on it. It's a good day to die. Now's better than later. All right.
Fuck you, man. Alright, well, we're just gonna do this later then. Yep, that was fine with me. We finally got him knocked out, so I'll just call that a day. Honestly, we'll do it next time, and we'll probably drink like 2 potions, and everybody dies instantly. But we just hadn't reloaded the game in a while, so I'm just going to assume that's why everybody just didn't do anything they needed to do to stay alive. And yeah, I took care of half the motherfuckers by myself, so there's no excuse for that. It is what it is. That's fine. I don't care. I wasn't playing a no death run. If I was, then, well, we wouldn't be playing this. For anyone that's interested, I also got this. This was, I guess you could say, funded by Joey the other night, and he was like, "Hey, go get it while it's still on sale." And I'm like, "Okay, chill, I got it." Anyway, there was Tales of Arise, and there was Tales of Arise with like an edition that was like, I don't know, like $4 more or something like that. Anyway, $5 more, I don't remember. And it was like, well, if I got this, why not get this? Because it was on the same kind of sale, and I'm like, and the other version was like $80 and was basically the same as this. So I'm like, you're gonna sell me this for either $10, $15, or $80. Well, I think I'll just go ahead and take it for $15, and that seems to work for me. Don't know if it's gonna be my type of shit or not, but I'm told I'd like it. We'll see. I don't know. Like I say, it was super cheap. I can spend $15 on beer, and if it, whatever, the next day it doesn't really matter. So that's not a huge deal, I guess. It got recommended enough. I went and looked at it, and it's supposedly like, it's not turn-based. I mean, apparently it's one of those like can be turn-based, but it's not. So I'm like, maybe if it's like an Origins type of thing, it'll at least be playable. And supposedly it has tactics too. And I'm like, any game that even suggests that it has tactics, I'm kind of down with that. Now, if they're super, super, super like 1 + 1 is 2, but 2 plus whatever, yeah, that's just not a thing. If it's like that, okay, yeah, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Is it good? Are you guys fans of this? Seriously. Anybody actually like this? Who the fuck is buying this for even 90% off? Who, like seriously? If you bought it and you only play it like you're trying to pretend that you don't regret buying it, whatever, but I don't see now this. I wish Ubisoft didn't support child molesters, because I would probably play that right there. I might be severely disappointed, but I would probably have played that. Hey Dylan, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? In a minute. We're just getting off. Like this is the end of it, Dylan. I know this is kind of your daytime, but I gotta get some sleep, and I've got to start work early. Fuck, I got to go to the auto parts place and get a headlight bulb before I do anything tomorrow. Get gas, and I got a bunch of shit to do. So anyway, that's, yeah. I got to get out of here. Sorry you're just coming in, because, yeah, I got to go. I didn't really too much look at the gameplay. I looked at the details, and the detail says it was apparently it's a bit like a Dragon Age game, is that it's potentially, you can treat it as turn-based, but it's not, or it doesn't have to be. Yeah, you too. I'm gonna try to get on earlier tonight if I can, but honestly, like, Saturday is kind of when I want to work late. If I'm working late, it means there's work to do, and I'm actually making some money, at least something. So I'm kind of hoping tonight's like that. But if it's dead, I'm definitely going to get home as ASAP, and yeah, get on stream as early as possible. So if I'm on stream later again tonight too, I gotta work. I gotta work tonight. I work tomorrow. Gotta work early on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday are really, yeah. And then I'm even supposedly working Thursday. at another store, which is supposed to be even busier and even better to work for. So, hey, that sounds good to me. But we'll throw the streams in there. It's just, even if I have to get on late, I'll just get on at least for a little bit. If this had been like a Monday or a Tuesday or some shit like that, and it had been like 2 in the morning, I wouldn't have even started the stream. I'd have just gone and maybe watched like half a movie or something and just fell asleep. That's probably what I would have done. But because it was Friday, I'm like, well, this is when everyone in the UK and, east of that is on their weekend. So it's a lot of times it's the only time I can see a couple of you guys. It's the only time you're available. You're working or doing things the rest of the week. You're not up at, if you're up at noon, you're at work or at school or both, doing stuff. So I try to get on weekends, even if I only got a couple hours. I don't really plan on streaming for an hour or two. It's been almost 3, but there's no point in like progressing anymore because I have to find a cutoff point. I'd rather find a cutoff point where I know exactly where I'm at, so that when I come in tomorrow, I don't have to backtrack and say, oh, well, did I forget this? And did I not do this? And what do I have here? And blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to have to do that. So this is really actually a good spot. We're at the little bandit ambush on the bridge, and then we'll do Lothering, and we can do shit and then get to another point where, if we have to stop again, then we can actually stop there. So that sounds like a plan to me. All right, guys. Well, you guys take care. I hope you had a good holiday. If it was your holiday this weekend, Thanksgiving or something related to that, I guess. If not, then, well, doesn't mean you can't treat your weekend as some kind of holiday and be thankful and eat up a bunch of stuff. And, if you got stuff to eat it up and be thankful for it. A lot of people don't have that, right? No reason not to do that pretty much every day, to be honest. Why does it have to be Thanksgiving once a year? But you've got an entire month set aside for... Never mind. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. All right, you guys have a good one. All right, Dylan, man, say hi to Mom for us. Give her a hug. Unless you hug her all the time, then, okay, whatever. But if you hardly ever hug her, then just give her a hug for everybody. Say, this is from everybody. Just do that. All right, man. Y'all take care. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tonight. And if I don't see you guys tonight, it means I worked so late that, fuck it, it wasn't even worth it. So, all right. Y'all take it easy.